It was supposed to be a perfect family celebration. I'm Lauren Davis, watching my daughter Mia laugh, when Ethan Cooper smirked and whispered something cruel. The words stung instantly. Everyone smiled, unaware, but my heart sank. Something was terribly wrong, and I knew this moment would change everything. I am Lauren Davis, a mother who has always believed in protecting her family above all else. My daughter Mia is my world, her laughter, her small joys, the way she looks at me with trust and love. Together, we have built a life filled with warmth, honesty, and simple happiness. Today was a day to celebrate that bond. The family had gathered for a cheerful celebration, balloons swaying gently, music playing softly in the background, and the aroma of freshly baked treats filling the air. Every detail reflected the love we shared, from the careful decorations to the smiling faces of relatives who cared deeply for us. I watched Mia interact with her cousins, her innocent joy making my heart swell with pride. We shared stories, laughter, and little moments that made life feel effortless. For a brief time, everything seemed perfect, a calm before the storm that I could not yet see coming. Beneath the smiles and cheerful chatter, tiny ripples of unease were waiting to surface, ripples that would soon turn into a wave I was not prepared for. As the celebration continued, I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling growing in my chest. Ethan Cooper, who had always appeared charming on the surface, began showing subtle signs of arrogance. A smirk here, a teasing remark, there small things that didn't sit right. On the outside, he smiled and mingled with the guests, but his eyes held a flicker of something I couldn't quite place. I tried to dismiss it, telling myself I was overthinking. Maybe it was just my protective instincts speaking up, I thought. Yet, the little oddities kept stacking up. He brushed off questions about the party, avoided direct eye contact when Mia mentioned him, and seemed oddly detached despite being at the center of attention. Each inconsistency made my gut tighten. I questioned myself constantly. Was I imagining it, twisting harmless actions into suspicion, or was my intuition warning me? The emotional distance between us grew, invisible to others but impossible to ignore. For the first time, I realized that appearances can be deceiving, and that beneath his charming facade, Ethan's true nature might be hiding, quietly waiting to reveal itself. The moment came unexpectedly. Ethan Cooper, standing before our family, made a cruel comment about Mia. The words hit like a cold gust of wind, humiliating, sharp, and public. Laughter followed from a few oblivious guests, but my world had stopped. I felt my chest tighten, my heart pounding in disbelief. For a moment, I froze. The shock of betrayal was overwhelming. How could someone I had trusted, someone I had welcomed into my family, treat my child with such disrespect? Ethan's smirk, which had seemed subtle before, now felt like a dagger aimed directly at us. I could hear my own voice shaking inside, but no sound came out. The room continued its cheerful chatter around me, oblivious to the emotional storm raging within. The sense of betrayal was crushing. I had believed in his charm, in his words, in the person he presented to the world. Every instinct screamed that nothing would ever be the same. Trust shattered in an instant, replaced by disbelief, and the harsh realization that Ethan's true colors had been exposed. The audience, witnessing the moment unfold, felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the suspense of what would happen next. The laughter and chatter around me blurred into a distant hum. I, Lauren Davis, stood frozen, my mind racing, my heart aching. The humiliation inflicted by Ethan Cooper wasn't just a passing sting, it tore through the joy we had built, shattering the peaceful celebration I had imagined for Mia. I felt the weight of isolation pressing down. Guests continued to smile, unaware of the storm that had erupted in my chest. But I was no longer present in that room. Every happy memory, every plan I had made for Mia's special day, felt tainted. Dreams of a joyful, carefree celebration evaporated in the harsh light of betrayal. Questions gnawed at me relentlessly. Had I misjudged Ethan all along? Were the subtle signs I had ignored truly warnings I should have heeded? Self-doubt mingled with anger, confusion, and sorrow. Even as I tried to compose myself, a quiet collapse settled inside me. The safety and trust I had taken for granted were gone, leaving only emptiness and the bitter taste of reality. Recovery wouldn't be immediate, but the first step was acknowledging the depth of the damage and the loss we had endured. After the initial shock faded, I, Lauren Davis, made a decision. I would not give Ethan Cooper the satisfaction of seeing me crumble. No tears, no shouting, no impulsive confrontation. Calm would be my weapon, and patience my strategy. I began observing him closely, quietly noting every word, every smirk, every subtle lie. His arrogance, once hidden behind charm, became more apparent with each interaction. I documented everything: messages, excuses, small inconsistencies, and stored them carefully, knowing that the smallest detail could later expose the truth fully. Every day, I rehearsed in my mind how I would reveal his betrayal. Envisioning the moment when the mask would slip, I stayed outwardly composed, interacting with him as if nothing had changed, letting him underestimate my awareness. Mia's happiness remained my anchor. I maintained normalcy around her, protecting her from Ethan's arrogance, while the plan formed quietly in the background. Waiting became an art. Timing was crucial. I understood that a single misstep could ruin the opportunity to restore justice. My resolve hardened. When the moment came, it would be precise, deliberate, and unforgettable. As the days passed, Ethan Cooper grew increasingly careless. His arrogance returned in full force, each smirk and dismissive gesture revealing a dangerous overconfidence. He believed I, Lauren Davis, was still the same shaken woman from the fallout, unaware that his every move was being quietly recorded and noted. I felt my confidence grow with each observation. The fear and shock that had once clouded me were replaced by clarity and determination. Every lie Ethan had told, every moment of subtle disrespect, had prepared me for this moment. Slowly, the balance of power shifted. Conversations that once intimidated me now felt like opportunities to gather more insight. His attempts to manipulate the atmosphere faltered, and others began to notice his uneasy behavior. My presence, calm and unwavering, became a silent assertion of control. The once dominant figure of Ethan began to crumble under the weight of his own arrogance. Unaware that the final confrontation was drawing near, I positioned myself strategically, preparing for the moment when truth would be revealed and justice would finally be served. The stage was set, and I was ready. The moment had arrived. At the next family gathering, I, Lauren Davis, remained calm, composed, and collected, while Ethan Cooper carried on with his usual charm, oblivious to the storm about to unfold. As conversations flowed around us, I chose a perfect moment to act. I presented the proof: messages, excuses, inconsistencies, all laid bare for everyone to see. Each lie, each subtle act of disrespect, now exposed. Ethan's confident smirk faltered, twitching at the edges as the truth sank in. Gasps rippled through the room. Guests exchanged looks of shock, their disbelief turning toward him. He tried to explain, to charm his way out, but words failed him. The arrogance and deception that once gave him power had crumbled completely. Every secret, every hidden intention, now visible for all to judge. For the first time in weeks, I felt the weight lift. Calm justice had been served. Power had shifted entirely. The one who had underestimated me was now powerless and exposed. Silence and truth worked better than anger or revenge. I stood strong, unshaken, letting the karma unfold naturally, and the balance of authority was finally restored. After the confrontation, a quiet calm settled over my world. I, Lauren Davis, finally felt the weight of betrayal lift from my shoulders. The chaos that had consumed the celebration, the humiliation, and the lingering distrust, all of it began to fade. Peace returned slowly but surely. I reclaimed my space, my voice, and my sense of self. The power I had lost, the satisfaction of exposing betrayal. In that moment, Lauren Davis reclaimed her life, her dignity, and her power. Karma had done its work, and the man who had tried to manipulate her now faced the consequences of his lies. The moment Lauren Davis had been preparing for finally arrived. Surrounded by family and friends, she stood with calm confidence, every eye on her as the tension in the room thickened. Ethan Cooper, still smiling, unaware of the storm about to hit, believed he was in control. Lauren began speaking slowly, deliberately, presenting the evidence she had collected: hidden messages, secret calls, and all the inconsistencies Ethan had tried to hide. Each lie he had told was exposed, every deception laid bare. The charm he once wielded so effortlessly crumbled under the weight of undeniable truth. Ethan's confident demeanor faltered, his words stumbled, his excuses meaningless. The room went silent as whispers spread, eyes widened, and the reality of his betrayal became impossible to ignore. The power he had held for so long shifted completely. Lauren, composed and unshaken, now commanded the room, her quiet strength amplifying the impact of the revelation. There was no yelling, no dramatic spectacle, just truth, justice, and a sense of balance restored. Karma had arrived, leaving Ethan speechless and powerless, and Lauren standing taller than ever. After the confrontation, Lauren Davis finally felt the weight of betrayal lift from her shoulders. The chaos that had consumed her life, the heartbreak, the lies, the endless questioning of trust began to fade, leaving space for clarity and peace. She no longer carried the fear or doubt that Ethan Cooper had implanted. Self-respect, once shaken, was fully restored. Lauren realized that she didn't need to cling to a life built on deception. Her worth was independent of anyone else's actions. Freedom flowed through her, not just from Ethan's lies, but from the emotional chains that had held her captive for weeks. With a clear vision of her life moving forward, Lauren embraced the lessons of the past. She understood the importance of intuition, patience, and self-trust. The pain she endured had transformed into strength, making her wiser, more resilient, and ready to face the world on her own terms. Lauren Davis had survived betrayal, and in doing so, discovered a power she never knew she possessed. Life could break her, but it could also rebuild her, stronger and more determined than ever. Betrayal taught Lauren the value of trust, self-worth, and resilience. Heartbreak can break you, but it can also build strength. Pay attention to your instincts, protect your heart, and never settle for deceit. What would you do in my place? Did this story shock you? Hit like if it did. Subscribe now for more dramatic revenge and betrayal stories. And comment below, what would you do if you were in Jessica's place? We want to hear your story.